Hey everyone, JC here. So today I want to share a simple practice that you can use anytime that's generally helpful for settling strong emotions and especially for calming nervous energy. And it's great whenever your energy is up and you want it to settle a bit. I've seen it completely shift the vibe in a room full of strangers where everyone came in and they were really nervous and there's a lot of frenetic energy. And everybody went through this practice. It's very short, only take a couple minutes. And the whole vibe of the room just became calm and like chill vibes after doing this. So, if you ever feel like a ball of nerves, especially before a big event, a presentation, maybe an important conversation you're going to be having, where you want to be on and confident and settled, I would definitely recommend trying this out and seeing how it goes for you. So we're just gonna get right into it. You'll notice I'm sitting, which I pretty much never do, because we're just gonna get right into the practice. So you're gonna do that from a seated position, and we're gonna start with a pre-test first to check in with where you're at right now, and then we'll go through the practice, and then recheck afterwards how you're feeling, and note any differences. That, the effect that the practice had on you this time around. Of course, the stronger an experience of anxiety or nervous energy that you start with, the more likely, the stronger a contrast that you'll experience. So, and then after the practice, I'll share a little bit about how it works, and also how it connects to our roles in culture. Okay, so let's start. Pre-test. So just starting as you're sitting by checking in with yourself. You're welcome to close your eyes if that helps. Just checking in with yourself and your body. Just noticing which areas feel most lit up, most in the foreground. What gets your attention? And notice if your energy and awareness is generally more concentrated in your upper body, from your belly button up, maybe top of your belly, your chest, your shoulders, maybe your jaw, your face, your head, your eyes. And notice the awareness of those areas in comparison to your lower body. And see what's lit up. And without any need to change it, notice your breath. And simply taking note of how it feels. The qualities of your breath, which parts of you are actively participating in your breath. Seeing if it's more in your belly or your chest. And noticing if there are any parts of you that your breath doesn't quite reach. And just checking in with the circumference of your breath. So imagining that your breath spans out in all directions, like in a circle. Where would that line be, the circumference of how far it goes? See if you can get a sense of that. Just make a note of it. And the last piece of this pretest, before we do the practice, is noticing if the energy inside your body is moving in a certain direction. So, does the energy move up or out? Is there any energy that goes down or back? So that's our baseline, our starting point. Okay, so let's make a mental note. And now we're going to go into the practice, and I'm going to back up here so you can see me fully. And okay, so I'm going to back up. You'll still be able to see me. There we go. Just need to project a bit more. Okay, so in this practice, we're going to be activating the IT band, which is the layer of it's a connective tissue or fascia that goes along the side of your legs. And so it's really about the outsides of your legs. Your upper body is going to be relaxed as much as possible. And all through this practice, you can think of your engagement or your activation of your muscles as like a volume dial. So you can always turn it up, you can always turn it down. You have that agency anytime you need to turn it up, turn it down. Okay, so we're going to start. You're going to take your right hand, and it's going to go on the outside of your left leg near your knee. And then you're going to take your left hand, and it's going to go across to the outside of your right leg near right knee. And as much as possible, just relax your upper body. And you're going to start by engaging the sides of your legs by bringing your knees outwards, laterally. Okay? So just start by engaging that, and your hands are just there to create a little barrier, create a little resistance so that you can feel that activation. But again, as much as possible, just relaxing your upper body. And just engaging your lower body, maybe at about a 5 on a 10 scale, of 10 being your the most you could engage that area. Just about halfway. So just engaging, and I'm starting to feel just that tension building up a little bit. And relaxing again, relaxing your upper body. And now we're going to go in a countdown from 10 down to 0. The 10 is going to be your maximum engagement, like you're doing right now. 5 is going to be halfway, half of that. And 0 is going to be where you're totally relaxed. So with each number, you're just going to drop it a little bit. So now I'm really starting to feel it. Okay. So we start at 10, and we go down to 9, drop it a little bit, 8, 7, 6, 5, we're halfway, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. So So now coming back up to sitting, just noticing your sense of yourself now. As you do that, come up here, come back. There we go. Okay. Just checking in again from this place after having done the practice. So we were engaging our fascia and a few other muscles. So your heart might be beating a little bit more, but that will subside. Just noticing here your sense of yourself. Seeing your awareness between your upper and your lower body. And again, noticing your breath. And seeing if you can feel your feet on the ground. Just checking in with where you're at now. And wherever that is, it's okay. It's all welcome. It's all allowed. So this can have different impacts for different people at different times. So just note what your experience is in this moment. It's usually helpful or just bringing everything back into your body, into presence. And so you might be wondering, what does the IT band have to do with nervous energy? So the IT band, this long piece of connective tissue, our fascia, aside from its physical functions connected with mobility and stabilization affecting the hip joint and the knee, it also has a few psychological functions, one of which is managing energy, meaning the buildup and containing of powerful energy inside of yourself. And that includes emotional energy and stress energy. So often our emotional energy has an up and an out orientation. And if we're wanting to express that emotion, we want to follow that and allow it to move. And that's one way of working with an energy that might feel like too much to hold in your body. Another way to work with it is to increase the size of the container that the energy is residing in, allowing it to spread over more space. So let's say you have a really strong sensation of jumpiness in your belly. Maybe there's an emotion associated with it too, like nervousness. If you dig a little deeper, maybe you're a little bit afraid. So all of that energy is in a pretty small space in your belly. And think about what's happening here. You have this whole body, like your feet, your legs, like your entire body, and all these aspects of yourself, and your awareness is sucked into this intense, this small space, this intense energy that's now in the foreground of your experience, and everything else fades to the background. So what we're doing with a practice like this is increasing the tone in the container of our bodies and allowing that intense energy to be carried by more tissues of our body over more space, and also bring the background to the foreground. I'm sure that you've heard the phrase, many hands make light work. So in this case, many tissues make light work. So the intense energy that's in one area of the body is now also being held in the massive tissues in the legs. So this phenomena happens in larger complex networks of bodies as well, be it organizations or a culture. Have you ever been a part of a group where a few people are carrying an intense load and everyone else, the bigger mass of people, are kind of disconnected and in the dark about what's happening? You can think of, this is a very common pattern. You could think of it in a tiny example like a school project where one person takes on the task of the group. You can also think of it in, huge cultural bodies made up of many, many layers of groupings, of individual bodies and all of their relationships, where certain bodies and relationships bear more of certain kinds of pressures. So this pattern is replicated on all of these scales, and my belief is that we can learn to intervene on the bigger scales through shifting our embodiment, what I think of as embodied micropolitics. Ultimately, the questions are the same for each of these different scales. Where is the focus? What's the background? What's the foreground? Who is awake and engaged? Who is disconnected? Who can share the load? What kinds of connections need to happen so that we can facilitate a more sustainable and regenerative experience for the whole system? So some food for thought. I hope the practice is helpful to you. Again, remember, you can always titrate, turn the volume up, turn the volume down. Give it a try when you want to feel more settled, and keep me posted.